Hey, good
morning,
everybody.
everyone.
It's Monday. Huzzah. Hope everybody is having a good old Monday. We are.
We've been up.
Yeah.
I slept in, actually. Yeah, I slept in until like 7:30 this morning.
Oh, and a new follower. Thank you, Kevin. Or Kenneth.
Kenneth.
Sorry, everybody. I'm adjusting a little bit here, as always. There we go.
I know you see
Hooray.
us adjusting the news desk. Well, welcome to Monday morning. We had fun on Sunday, right?
We did. We had a great time yesterday. We had a bunch of our Patreon supporters on the show yesterday, and it was really fun.
Yeah, we got to meet them, face to face, hang out, find out, what they like about Lego.
And yes, I keep
what they
forgetting.
build.
Ahoy, hoy, tricky luggers!
Ahoy, hoy! And why would we ever say ahoy, hoy?
Well, we talked about that. Ahoy, hoy was how Alexander Graham Bell preferred to answer the phone, and he wanted people to adopt that. And it comes from obviously the word ahoy, which is a sort of would it called a disambiguation? Is that right?
What really?
Of
wow.
of
multiple syllables.
I believe a Swedish word which is hoy, which means hi. So basically, you're saying hi.
So disambiguation must be like clarification, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a word I use very often.
So there you go. Ahoy, hoy.
Ahoy, hoy.
Yeah. So it was a really fun show. We got to see a lot of the people who were who you see in the chat a lot, but you've maybe never seen before.
No idea. Faces. We saw great art. We saw Cat's art.
We saw Cat's art. Yes, it's true. We got to see some pretty cool stuff.
Well, who's with us today?
So Remy Baker. That's right. Moshi Moshi is the same, right?
Oh,
it's the same thing. You're just thinking, hi, ahoy, hoy. See, it's all related. It's all related.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say
we'll do more greeting of people right now.
Yes.
Except you're gonna want to go to the three dots instead of the multi-stream. You always want to do that.
It's because I see multi-stream and I just get
true.
so excited.
It seems like who's with us? Look, Albert Lee.
Apples is here. Bill Ward. Brickanista. Brickaroo Bonsai is here. Brickworm. Chris Core, Blimey, Governor, Chalice, Toodle Pip
is here with us this morning as well.
Are a caution.
Cheeky monkey.
Dallas Rich is here. Hey, how's it going, Dallas? Haven't seen you in a little while. Darts and Toys, a new face name. Hi, how's it going? Debo Bricks is here. Gwyneth is here.
Gwyneth.
So happy to see Gwyneth here. Hooded One. Insane, and Hooded One, by the way, I saw your Instagram post, and don't you dare think that you're going to get away with putting that brick-built minion in your challenge build and calling it one piece.
Uh-oh.
I saw what you tried to do.
Multiple pieces.
I saw what you tried to do.
He was on me about piece
Insane
count.
Legos fan. Oh, you put the apostrophe S on it. Naughty. JMW Music. John Luttrell. Hey, John. Johnny Cat. Hi, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
Whose birthday it was yesterday. Matthew Builds Bricks. Hey, Matthew. How's it going?
Minifig Chick.
Minifig Chick is here.
Always a pleasure.
Miss Fets. I love that.
Awesome.
I love that. And welcome. Orange Bricks. Remy Baker. Rob Zaccardi is here. Shane Levan. Steve Parmley. The Mowgli. Oh, hey, the Mowgli. How's it going? And Kim. Zarakino Kim, who we had on the show yesterday.
Hang out with Kim yesterday, too.
Yes. Here, I'm going to have a little
this coffee this morning. Oh, look, both of us. What do I have? I have Niagara Falls.
I love that cup,
right?
actually.
I don't want to put it over the laptop. Niagara Falls.
I've got this sort of tiki thing going on. Hi, Marilyn. How's it going?
Tikis now always make me think of Paul Hetherington because he does such awesome tiki Lego building.
It does, but I will never not think about the Brady Bunch. We talk about the Brady Bunch so much.
Oh, but that's true. That's
what I always think of.
Iconic episode. Is Greg gonna make it? He wiped out on the wave.
And it was an iconic 2 episodes, and it had Vincent Price as the guest star. So I'm just saying.
And a tarantula. And you know how we like scary tarantulas.
It's got it all,
right?
really.
It
Vincent Price, tarantulas.
So go to the website. We'll put up that episode.
Alice
of
doing the hula.
Brunch.
The Brady Brunch?
The Brady
That's
Brunch.
a different show.
Oh, I want the Brady Brunch. We should do that. We should do that in a Zoom meeting, right? The Brady Brunch.
Oh my goodness. All right.
I'll be Alice. Well, what do we have today? How about Disney pins, Flynn?
Yes, we do. We have those.
I'm going back to a little favorite. I'm just feeling so polite and a little impish today. So, if we can, we're gonna go with Dale.
Yay, it's Dale.
Dale.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so because we were doing gears...
That works. That double hand thing works.
Now, mine's kind of I don't know if it's a stretch or not, but I kind of went... and as you know, we've run out of Disney pins at this point, so we're repeating them.
Well, we're in pins. You know what? Helen Mirren can wear the same dress at more than one awards ceremony. We can wear the same Disney pin more than once.
If it's good enough for Helen Mirren. That's
right.
what I always say. So I figured today we were talking about gears, which made me think of kind of steampunk stuff, and sciencey, which also made me think of
way around.
Yeah, also made me think of this incredible piece of awesomeness, which is
that one of the coolest Disney pins I've ever seen. That would be
it's
the
really
Nautilus,
good. The Nautilus,
right?
exactly.
That would have to be the Nautilus. And it's so big it's got two backs.
It does have two backs, it's true.
It'll stay upright. What's going on, Flynn?
Yes, it is the Nautilus, Remy Baker. It's a really great one. And,
I used to love that ride at Disneyland too, the submarine ride. Flynn, I don't know, it was scary for him as a little kid because he has a thing about tentacles.
Yeah, so I have this thing about tentacles, right? Like they completely freaked me out. And this is the funny thing. This is the way your child mind remembers things, or your mind period remembers things. Okay, so I didn't ride the submarine ride for years. Not only because it was just like a horrifying enclosed space and like the lines were way too long.
Yeah, but you didn't want to hang out with the giant squid, right?
Right, and so they did this thing on the submarine ride where when you went, and specifically the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea version, when they didn't want you to see that you were transferring from one part of the ride to the other, bubbles would come up in front
like
of
you're going underwater,
of the window, or even if you were going in a cave and coming out and they wanted to do a transition, it was like all these bubbles would come up, bubble curtain. And I was convinced, and I would tell you, I was like, oh my God, I can't ride that ride. I can't ride, what?
Day of the Tentacle.
Yes. Oh, well, I love that game. Oh my goodness, Day of the Tentacle, awesome. Maniac Mansion, awesome. We'll have to talk about that sometime. But anyway, I was like, oh, the scariest part is like, I would be in there, and then those tentacles, they have like those tentacles that wrap around it, and you can see the suckers attached to the window, and it was completely terrifying. Oh my God, I hate it. So I finally got the nerve up to ride it again.
Now this is before they changed it to Nemo, right?
Right, and it was Little Mermaid first, I believe, for a little while.
Oh, okay.
But they did change it to Nemo, but this was before all of that. They were actually going to take out the ride, and I figured, okay, if they're taking out the ride,
I better have a last shot.
I gotta get on there.
Yeah.
And then I wrote it, and guess what? There are no tentacles. There are no suckers up against the window. Like that was completely
all in your head?
Invented by my kid mind, which shows
don't you see? I thought you saw tentacles.
Well, you saw them, but there was nothing. Like in my mind, they were attached to the window that you could see them right in your face, and it was terrifying. And I'm sure I probably mixed the bubble curtain and like that real close to somewhere in my kid mind, but it also I think speaks to the power of those rides and how they can make you think something in your brain that isn't like you fill in something in your head that's not actually there.
Fire the imagination, right?
Yeah.
But you're also drawn to tentacles. You made a painting, right? He used to do this thing where he would modify couch art from like the 60s and 70s, like big giant paintings that go above your couch, and he would modify them in spooky ways.
Yeah, and that's how I got my very first art show actually in New Orleans, which now that would have been in almost 20 years ago now. Almost 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, you used to do Keen paintings,
well,
right?
A bunch of different ones, yeah. But so anyway, there is tentacles. Anyway,
yes, so we were talking about you modified a piece of couch art that had a ship on it to have tentacles coming up.
It had it drawing. Yeah, terrifying.
Hey,
all right,
and you know what? Lego.
You know what,
right?
Lego?
How about that for a transition? We have viewer mail today, right?
We do have viewer mail. Now, we kind of showed this viewer mail yesterday, but not in a super official capacity because, Sundays are different.
No, you moved it.
So, first of all, we have this bit of amazing viewer mail. Oh, thank you, Ms. Thing.
Oh, wow. What timing. How Ms. Thing is feeling what? She's feeling sciencey.
Oh yes,
today.
she has her. In honor of today's subject, she's wearing her gear ring.
Yes, she's gearing up for the show.
She's gearing up for the show. Thank you, Ms. Thing.
Well, because she can't. She doesn't have ears, so she doesn't have earrings. She just has gear rings.
Anyhow,
moving ahead.
Who? JMW, no, Angela has not come yet. She keeps threatening to arrive, and we haven't been able to. Anyway, yeah. So, anyway, these were the amazing stickers that we got from Shane Levan, and his friend made these. And Shane, if you're here, maybe you can remind everybody, but these amazing kawaii Logan stickers.
With those pink cheeks, like how cheerful is Logan?
I love these so much, and apparently these are for sale, so you can purchase these from her. And Andrea Diaz is her name.
Oh, right on.
And and Shane, if you're here, you should put the link up to where we can find that. Why we're having issues with
autofocus?
Autofocus today. I'm just gonna go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe is it trying to focus on the Monkey King warrior mech back there?
You know what? It's very, very possible.
Because that's highly detailed.
Very possible. Yes, Clicky. We are having trouble with the autofocus. Do you think maybe you could do something about that? Would be awesome. We would super appreciate it.
Here it comes, Click.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Clicky. We appreciate that. All right, so yes.
Magic behind the scenes going on. So this is so awesome, and actually Logan would have red cheeks because we took him outside to an actual outside place on his like 50-foot leash to the what's it called, the Sugarloaf Open Space.
Sugarloaf Open Space is awesome. Oh, ahoy hoy, Corey Kinnick and Michelle Hainline. How's it going? Welcome to the show. We were just looking at these awesome viewer mail / sticker time that Shane sent of his friend did of Logan as a little kawaii character with super cute eyes and little Lego bricks around his head. I love these. There we go. Logan stickers aren't up yet, but Shane asked her to post them. Darth Drea squared outside. There you go.
Oh, cool. Thanks,
there you go. Thank you, Minifig Chick, for posting that. And hello, Moto.
And you know, and you may have seen this yesterday.
Hello, Moto, wasn't that a thing? Was it?
It was. It is now.
It was on a commercial.
Oh, your keyboard's charging. It looks like it's coming back to life.
It is. We'll see what happens.
So we got another piece of viewer mail, and you may, if you were with us yesterday, you would have seen this. But we're so excited about it, and we'll show it again when we've built it. But from Rob Hendricks of Lifelights,
yes,
he sent us these two. He 3D prints them now. These night lights. So you plug it in, it's got a little light sensor on it, and then an LED on the top, and you can put presumably translucent bricks.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do a shadow scene on it, and then so this one is all of these are in system.
Yep.
There. And he prints those in his very own house.
Yeah, so he 3D prints these.
And you know, an awesome thing I didn't know, but Rob is also a poet, and he sent us a haiku.
He did send us a haiku along with these.
Yeah, he thinks long and hard about his haikus. Oh, Johnny, thanks you. Johnny. He probably wouldn't tell you this, but he was way back when an award-winning haiku writer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this is, here we go. A light in the dark that you can build with your bricks. Illuminate me.
Oh,
see? There it is.
Very nice.
Little tiny.
Thank you, Rob Hendricks.
Tiny haiku.
Thank you. Is a Clicky one piece, says Hooded One. No, I'm afraid Clicky is 3 pieces.
Well, really? He is, yeah. Any brick-built figure.
Yeah, any
Flynn got me on that, too. We were talking about Technic, and, so a
pins count on
okay,
Technic.
so a Fabulin creature, 1 piece,
That's 1
right?
piece, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so, oh yes, so we don't have, well, we showed stickers, but we're doing our other feature today, which is, printed tile of the day.
Printed tiles of the day.
Printed and or stickered tile, decorated tile of the day, right? Yeah.
We need a little science help here. Yep. There, see? Bling. Right, like that. Science help. So we can focus on printed tiles.
Here we go. So
you're distracted with technology today.
There's
always so much going on, right?
Do we have a little piece of tape? See, that's what we need. You just need to go pop right on there.
Oh, well, you know what one of our clever viewers, namely Moto, did is he just put it on this.
Oh, you're right. Here we go. So this is our printed tile for the day, and I'm actually super excited about this because I just brokered a deal to get one of these.
Oh,
I'm
seriously?
Super excited. No, a sticker does not count as a piece.
A sticker does not count as a piece. You get all the stickers you want for free.
So here is the tile of the day. Is it gonna go?
Is it too bright to focus? Do we need it here?
No, because you know what happened? Clicky turned off autofocus for us.
Oh, that's right. Thanks,
so
Clicky.
Let's see. Thanks, Clicky, but now we need it to focus.
Oh.
Wow, Clicky.
Oh.
Come on, dude. All right, anyway, Bill's right. Maybe I'm just going to use the down camera here.
Look at that. We're going to run all over the studio.
So here it is. Here is the tile for today.
Anton's Bait Shop.
Anton's Bait Shop from the Lego Ideas Fishing Shack, and it is amazing.
What a great ramshackle piece,
It's
right?
so good. I've been looking forward to having this, and I missed it when I was out on Ideas, and now I'm going to be able to get an actual copy of it, so I'm super excited.
I love Ideas. They're the only boxes we keep, too.
Well,
really,
they're totally worth it.
Yeah, the really big sets, we keep those boxes, but Ideas has such great packaging. I love those, fold-up lids and all that.
And they always have really, the instruction books are always really nice and all that good stuff. So, gosh, yeah, have we covered all of the stuff we have to cover at the beginning now?
I think so. We took a bunch of features and put them all together so that once we get in a groove with gears, there's got to be a pun there somewhere.
Once we get
in gear. See, I knew there was a pun there somewhere. Shane, where are you?
Yeah, there's
Clicky hasn't had his coffee yet, which is why we're having focus troubles.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Likely.
So today we're going to talk about gears. Oh, Flynn, will you bring up?
On that?
I think so, but if you would bring up the web page so we can share some of that stuff, and then also I made a script. Look at that. We have an actual script.
Yeah, they can't
over there.
see that, but
no,
we can.
It's good. It's good you can't see it, so you won't know when we go off script.
Oh my goodness.
We could get a teleprompter. We actually know a guy who has been in the teleprompter business for 30 years.
It's true.
Right? We could just read stuff off.
Yes, and he's unfortunately having a terrible time right now.
Well, there's not a lot of production.
Nobody's being teleprompted.
Let's get
at the
a little
moment.
brighter again. That's more cheerful, right?
There we go.
Look at that. Hello, everyone. The sun just came out. And then we need the web page that's also going to have Sariel's stuff there.
Sure.
So while Flynn's working on that,
let's get to this after though.
All those things are up.
Okay, so we're talking about gears today.
About gears. Why gears, right?
Right.
Why do you even want them?
Why would I even want to use a gear? Well, you would want to use a gear because you want to make your piece move.
You want to accomplish some kind of work in it, either to attract attention or make something happen at a distance.
Right. And hello, ahoy hoy, Matt English, welcome.
Ahoy hoy.
Good to see you, ahoy hoy. I think you have to say it like that. It goes up
say
at
it
the
up
end.
at the end.
Oh, hi. Yes.
So
if
as
you want
though we were Alexander Graham Bell sitting right here.
Although I think he said it differently because he was Scottish. So
oh well, we're not gonna do Scottish accents, Flynn DeMarco.
No, I mean Brickmaster Amy would be knocking
No,
our
but
door down.
maybe she'll come on sometime.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, I don't think she's allowed to, but she did do an awesome hello and well wish on our women's panel on Mother's Day, right?
Yes, which was awesome.
That was cool. So, why would you want to use gears?
All right, Bill. Bye.
I'll see you. Is that Bill Ward?
Yes.
I'll see you.
We'll see you, Bill. All right.
So you'd want to use gears if you want to accomplish useful or ridiculous work in a piece, like I did in this chicken crossing the road thing, right? Gears can accomplish work. They can transfer power from one place to another. And so you probably know that from lots of gears in your life, but you may not know all the Lego gears. So we're going to talk about what gears are available, right?
Right. And if this may well be like way below your pay grade if you work with a lot of gears.
Well,
and
you
stuff,
may have a lot of experience with this, but we're talking right now. This is aimed towards people who haven't used gears in their pieces and just want to think maybe I want to make something move, and it's kind of scary if you just have a bunch of stuff that doesn't fit together.
Exactly.
So this is a gear basics, and we may do, like we often do, a couple of deeper dives.
All right, so let's go to our down camera.
Okay.
There we go. Look at that. Da da da.
Will you bring up the script?
I
again?
work for gear manufacturing. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
wow. I'm sure you will have lots.
Well, you're gonna know so much more.
You probably know so much more than we do. Now, and I should say too, like I do teach very simple gearing to my students.
How old are your students?
But they're like 7 and sometimes 6 and 5. So, here we go.
So, like always with our how-tos, I'm not presenting us as knowing everything there is about it. Neither of us took shop class. We've learned what we needed to learn and wanted to learn in order to make our pieces do stuff. So we're going to share some of that with you. And if you know stuff or if we get anything wrong, please let us know.
Feel free to correct.
And we can
correct us.
Yeah, we can all learn together. So here, let's put. Are you putting these off to the side?
No, I'm putting these in general sort of togetherness.
Oh, look, organization. I love perpendiculars. I gotta say, and I'm gonna scoot these over a little bit.
Okay. All right.
There.
So the first thing, like, if we're gonna get like super, oh, hoy, Zach Martinez, welcome.
That's gonna keep making me laugh.
So here we're gonna talk a little bit. About the different sizes of gears and how they are designated by their sizes. So
and
again,
shape,
this is
shape,
super basic. This is super basic, y'all. All right. So
oh, get one of those.
Oh, Monkey Kid. Sorry, I forgot to turn off the little part that has the banner on the bottom.
Here, would you get?
Sorry, let me just. Nope, not that banner. One.
There it
Sorry,
is.
everybody.
Would you get out an 8-tooth gear as well?
Yes.
And we'll bring out a few more kinds too here. But there's 2 things to look at with gears initially, and that is the size and the shape. Tell us something about that, Flynn.
Okay, so these are probably what we would consider the most basic gears. All right. This is a 40-tooth gear. This is an 8-tooth gear, and those represent your biggest and smallest of the basic gears. And then sort of in between there, we have a 24-tooth gear, and
that's 16.
One of these
right?
guys is a 16. Yeah.
Yeah, and
so
these have flat edges on them here. This edge is perpendicular with the face of the gear.
Yeah. So these are going to connect together, and the way we designate them when I say 40 teeth, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, is these things on the gears are called teeth, and they can connect together. And when they connect together, it's called meshing. So here we go. This is really sounding like one of my
It is.
my
That's
basic
that's
kitty
okay
classes.
though. We're starting from basics and we'll move up from there, right?
Right.
So you want a good mesh between your teeth so that one can drive the other one.
Right. So these are a little bit different in that so where this has the teeth that go on to both sides, right? And I think Christopher was saying that you could call these spur gears.
Oh, right.
Now these ones, the teeth are on one side of the gear, but not on the other side. They are flat on one side.
And Chris Chalice, moving back to the other gears, said correct meshing. That's the term, right? Correct meshing.
Or it's just called meshing, yes. There is, let me see, whoops, I forgot to get one of these bigger guys out here. These.
Here, let me take this.
Okay, so this here is a 20 tooth gear, like one of those flat gears.
Is that? I never counted. Actually, on that size, I never counted that gear.
Yeah, and then this one is a 12. Okay, so what's great about these is that with these you can actually go 90 degrees. So if you wanted to go 90 degrees, this is the gear that you would use rather than this one. Okay. Then this is a beveled gear, and it's different from this spur gear in that you can see that these teeth are super flat, and the teeth on this gear are rounded on the edges, right? And this one is a 36 tooth gear, so slightly smaller than this one.
Right? So this one does what both of these other two types do, right?
Similar.
Right? It can work straight like this, or it can work at 90 degrees like that.
Right. So you can do both. So this is like one specific way, both ways. All right. So there you go. These are the ones you can. These are all the different ones that you can that you will see in a lot of Technic.
Personally, in our builds, I haven't used beveled gears as much as the other two. I haven't either. When we're directed to in a set, I do, and they work great. I just haven't used them a lot myself.
Now, gears are awesome. However, they are kind of useless without a few other things.
Can we just do a real quick look at a few other types of gears? Like while we're doing our gear inventory?
Sure.
We'll just, we can go into functions of these things later, but do you want to talk about either of...
Sure. So these are called crown gears because they kind of look like a crown, right? They have spurs that stick up like a crown. These, which you may have seen in a lot of places, also can function as gears, right? You can connect these together and they will function just like gears. They often use these in some of the more simpler need for gears models. And then this is called a rack gear because it's flat like this on a rack, and you would use to go sort of back and forth, like if you wanted to do something that slided or you wanted a gear that moved back and forth rather than around.
Steering columns often use, steering mechanisms use rack gears often.
And then this is called a worm gear. And this one we'll get into later, but you would use this if you wanted to super slow down your gearing, but that's getting way far ahead. So,
well, now we have an inventory of different types of gears. Even these little knob gears here, can mesh. That's one of the final types of gears I know of.
All right. So, like I was saying, I'll put these here. Sandworm gear, indeed. So what you could do, like I was saying, these are kind of useless without some other items as well. So our other items would be axles, which we've gone over, and we've talked about this before
in the Technic how-to, right?
Right. We talked a little bit about axles. You're going to need axles. You may or may not need bushings, but they are always a good idea, in my opinion.
And there's
to get around. There's
two kinds of bushings. There's these full ones, and then these half ones are half as thick.
So you're definitely going to need those. You can also, there are certain pins that you can use that have like a pinned axle that has an axle on one side, pin to the other. And of course, it's really important for you to have Technic bricks or lift arms so that you have something to go through, have your axles go through.
It supports your axles that hold the gears, right? And kind of meshes or holds everything together.
Yeah, so really you can't really talk about gears without talking about these other pieces because they're all related and they all help. You know, like this is great, but if I want this to stay put, I'm going to need to put a bushing on it. All right. So that then I can control it. Otherwise, it's just going to fall out.
Here's an extra tip, and we've talked about this before. A tip with bushings is don't cram it super tight because you're going to introduce friction in your system. I like to use a thumbnail. And as you're building your mechanism, make sure that everything that's supposed to move freely continues to move freely. So then you know if you ever have something too tight, where you introduce that.
All right. So now that's sort of like your basic introduction to the pieces that you need. Now, I know some people are saying, well, where do I have parents ask me a lot where they can get some basic stuff. I did discover on Amazon there's a couple of places that will sell authentic Lego parts, but make sure it says authentic Lego on it, please. Because there's a lot of fakes out there. But there are some vendors on Amazon, and I will post links to them on our website, where you can go and just get like a sample pack, and it's going to come with axles, bushings, a couple of different sizes of gears, and they were pretty reasonable. They were like 18 or 20 bucks, which I think for what they gave you was maybe a little pricier than if you were just picking, but at the same time you are getting exactly what you need. So, yeah.
And then there's also, Technic sets are a great way to learn how some of this all goes together in a fun set. But if you want to start from scratch, I like the idea of those Technic parts sets.
So, let's talk about a little bit about what we call, we're going to talk about drivers, followers, and gearing up and down, and sort of what those things mean. So first, very simply, is right now you can see I have a crank hooked up to this 24 tooth gear here, and my crank is attached to it. I'm turning it. I'm turning it, and it's turning this other gear. Okay, so this would be the driver because that is what's being driven.
No, because that is what is driving, right?
Right. And then this is the follower gear. All right?
And that's what's being driven.
So this is the drive, this is the follow. All right? Okay. So now you may think like, well, what's the difference? What does it matter? Which one's the driver and which one's the follower? Well, it matters because of speed, and this is what we're talking about, like gearing up and down.
Well, can I ask you a question at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want all your gears to be the same size?
Because if all of your gears are the same size, they're just going to go the same speed. If you use a bunch of 24 tooth gears, they're never going to go faster than 24.
Then all you've accomplished is you've moved your power from here to over here. You've moved it to the side, and you've changed its direction, right?
Which is totally cool if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But this will allow you to change the speed of your gears. All right.
Yeah, so this one is going, this one is here. You're rotating around. If you go around the clock, you're going from 12 to 12, and this one doesn't make it all the way. It's going slower. It doesn't make it all the way around.
Right, so if you are going to go from a small gear to a large gear, that is called?
Gearing down.
Right, because I'm slowing it down.
Yep.
All right, and you can see now if I put this, yeah, if you can see like where my handle is right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and you can see where this is right here.
Do you want another arm for this?
If this was the same, this would make it all the way around once, but it only makes it around about 3/4, right? Maybe a little more.
Yeah, could we do, I don't want to slow you down too much, but can we do on this beam here, could we do an 8 gear rather than a 24?
Yes, we'd have to change the place where this is attached.
And then if you do that, then you're going from an even smaller to a bigger. So there's a bigger difference in the number of teeth between the two. So this would slow down even more.
So Wilfred says, why would you use several 3 and more gears of the same size instead of a chain, unless you want to change the side of rotation? Yeah, so that's one reason. If you wanted to be able to change the way that the gears rotate, but that's something that we can get into in a minute.
I believe if it's an even number of gears, like 2 gears, then the follower gear there is going to change direction. But if it's an odd number, you add yet another one, then the third one, it'll be going the same direction, right? If we put another 40 here. And I usually have to make little drawings for the direction. I just make a circle and draw which direction the arrow is going.
All right.
And then I'll know.
So I'm changing my crank over to here, and now this is going to be my driver gear, and this is going to be my follower gear. All right. So now, if going from small to large made things slower, then going from large to small is going to make things faster. Right? This is now
gearing up.
Going faster, and this is called gearing up.
Yeah, and then I thought,
okay,
can we do this?
Does that make sense? So, and there's something else that happens here. Okay, so when you are gearing up or down, okay, so if you're speeding things up, then you're losing torque. If you're slowing things down, you're gaining torque. And what I mean by torque is, imagine a carousel. Okay, it takes like a certain amount of energy to get that carousel around and around and around, and to keep kind of going around in a circle, right? And depending on which way the gears of that carousel are set, if it can go a lot faster, but now all of a sudden I'm going to lose some of that energy that gets it around, and they're going to have to work harder. It's going to have to work harder to get around than it would the other way. Does that make sense? I think that's, yeah.
Let me see if I can, oh, here, I'll put a red bushing on here. So it may be easier to see this now. These are in a similar place. They're both pointed. This is like, at 11 o'clock, and this is at 12. And I'm going to move this more than one full time, right? I'm going to move this. If I go all the way around here, look, that's back where it started, and this is only all the way around there. Mm-hmm. So that's, and the bigger the difference between your gears, oops. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger the difference between your gears, the more that difference in speed is.
Right. So again, gearing up is a big gear to a small gear, and that makes it faster but weaker. Going from a small gear to a big gear, it's going to go slower, but it's going to be stronger.
You can do a lot more force.
So that's your trade.
If you think about it, you have the same amount of power going in. You only have, like, let's say 10 units of power. And I'm not going to do the math for going out, but you can either spend that power in speed or in strength, right? But you don't get both.
Right. So so as far as gearing up and gearing down, you are, there's a couple of reasons why you may or may not want to do this. And that is dependent upon how you're going to power your gears. Are you powering your gears with a crank? Are you powering your gears with a motor? And if so, what kind of motor? And the reason I say that is because with a crank, you can pretty easily control how fast or slow it goes just by cranking it faster or slower, right? But if you were using, say, a power functions motor, a power functions motor only goes one speed. So if you want to hook up a power functions motor to your gear, it's only ever going to go that speed, unless of course your batteries are wearing down, in which case it will go another speed.
And that may be way too fast. Like maybe you don't want your car or Spider or whatever it is to go that fast.
Right. So in this case, you'd want to slow things down, right? And so we talked about before, how would we slow things down, Richard?
We would slow things down by going from, and if we had an axle joiner, we could actually, we could put this on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we? Oh, it's gonna hit. We need to take this off.
Yep. Why don't you talk about it and I'll do this.
What was I saying here? So if it's going too fast, then you may want to put a small gear on the motor and hook that up to a big gear next to it, like an 8-tooth gear on the motor hooked up to a big 40-tooth gear on the mechanism.
See, so that's going slower than it did when it was attached, when it was just the motor.
Yeah, and let me see if I can do this mesh here. If we can put an 8-tooth gear in there, it should slow it down even more. I think, now an important thing is, not all gears work in all holes to mesh together, right? And we need a bushing over there. And we'll go over that in a minute, but we're lucky in that you can put an 8-tooth gear right next to that 40. And so we would expect this to go. We're going from an 8-tooth gear down to 40. This will go even slower than it did a moment ago.
All right.
Should be significantly. See? Much better.
So there you go. Just two gears.
Yeah.
And you already slowed it down, right?
A lot. So
Brickworm is saying 5 times.
that is exactly right.
Mhm.
That's exactly right, and that's how the math works. And we'll show you now the other way.
Oh, sure.
If we put the motor over here, then we would expect the one on the 8-tooth gear to go 5 times faster, but it can't do as much work. It's pretty weak. You know, so it might stall your motor. But if you want to get more, and that's another reason right there, other than speeding up and slowing down, if you want to get more work out of your motor, you can gear down and gear down and gear down. So, and it will get more force out of it.
So we were talking a little bit about making sure that your things are not squished up too much, like having your bushing and your gear like pressed so tight that it causes friction in here. But the opposite is also true. You got to make sure that it's not hanging out like this, because if your bushing is like this, then this is going to want to push out.
And then you'll start jumping teeth, and you'll have that chattering sound that makes everyone sad.
Because that is the one thing that I remembered one of our friends telling us at the very beginning of all this, is that a machine with gears is constantly trying to tear itself apart.
Yeah,
so
those
you
gears
have to
don't
keep
wanna...
it from doing. You have to keep it from doing that.
Those.
All right, so here
I'll hold this. Look how fast that is. 5 times faster than the motor, and the motor was already going fast. That right there, gearing up and gearing down. And if I were to, will you try that again?
Mm-hmm.
I can stall this motor a lot easier with my finger, and I'm stressing the motor.
Yeah, so don't do that.
You know, than I can here. That's hard to stop.
All right, so I think that's a pretty effective representation of what gearing up and gearing down can do for you.
Do we have questions at this point? Because I think we can show that in this as well.
Oh, and actually, Moto brings up a really good point about bushings.
Yes.
And I'll just leave this out there, and then you can decide how you want to interpret this information, because this is a little more advanced. But a bushing, one side of a bushing is flat. The other side of the bushing actually has little indentations in it that will allow you to push it all the way down into a plate, and it makes a connection.
It'll lock between the studs, right?
Right. And the other thing about them is you see that it's got these lips. This can also be used as a pulley, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
Just wanted to, just while we were talking about bushings and motive reminded me.
No.
It's that time.
Okay.
While we are paused here,
That's exciting.
We'll have
paused
that time.
While we are paused. Today we're using really nice watercolor paper as our tabletop from Linoleum Block Printing. It's very fancy.
And
don't you feel posh?
I do, very. Oh, here we go. Is it that time? Is himself ready?
Yes.
Oh, I hear him coming.
I hear him.
Yay, Logan! Woohoo! How are you doing today, Mr. Man?
Ready? That's a good one.
Oh my goodness!
See, he's good at it. Good boy.
And you need little rosy cheeks, Logan.
And here's your moment with the camera, wagging your tail. Good boy.
He's
gonna drool on the table.
Good boy. Oh, hi. Good boy, Logan. He's
good
very,
boy.
Oh,
last one.
There's more on the table.
There was. He doesn't miss a beat.
All right. So back to our little demo here.
I think I'm gonna while Flynn talks, while he goes on to the next point, I'm gonna start taking the top off this, because what I found is that I didn't want to just crank this thing super slowly or super fast. I wanted to just make it like a music box, and so I geared it down, and I'll show you some of the stuff that I did underneath here in a minute.
All right, so we were talking about powering your powering your gears is going to be important for knowing how much you have to gear it up or down. Okay, because how are you going to power it? So what we started off with was a power functions, which we talked about only uses one speed. Now I don't have it here in front of me for some reason, but we have so powered up, which is kind of like the middle. And you've seen us; we've worked a lot with powered up before, so you've seen the different powered up pieces. But with powered up, you can actually, at least with one of the motors, there's two motors. There's a sort of a medium motor, there's a small motor that just spins, kind of like this one, and then there's a medium motor.
We have the train motor.
Oh yeah, and we also have the train. There's a train motor.
So
right, but we have. The great thing about the medium motor is it's actually programmable. So your gearing in this case becomes not quite as important, because you can tell, okay, I want you to only move at speed 10. Okay, I only want you to move at speed 50.
And the remote can do that for you too.
Yes.
Less subtly, right? It's only got a few steps.
Right. So I will just say this: if you find the whole gears thing extremely confusing, one way to kind of get around it, because you're still going to have to use gears eventually. One good way to get around that is by using a programmable system like Powered Up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, so then the other reason that you would want to use, so there's three reasons I know of to use gears. One, to move things faster or slower. The second is to create or reduce torque. And the other one is to just get the power from one place to another. Like, we had a crank here, but I didn't need the power there at the crank. I needed the power over here, and gearing got me over there.
Oops. Okay, so just in talking about transferring power, there is an awesome resource online, which I'm going to try and pull up here so that we can look at it.
One of our Lego heroes.
Total hero. He is amazing. His name is Pavel, and he goes by Sariel, and this is his book, The Unofficial Lego Technic Builder's Guide. And I will post a link to this on our Amazon page. This is a fantastic book. Shows you so much, but it does get very heady. Just warning you, it gets really mathy. So if that's something that you, you might find difficult, you may want to think about, starting somewhere a little easier, but there's a lot of easy chapters on here.
Well, and he also realizes how mathy this gets, and so he's created online tools to make it easier for people, right?
Yeah, yep. Hey, Megan is here. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Good to see you. I hope your move has gone smoothly. We miss you here. So yes, there we go. Unofficial Lego Technic Builder's Guide. So he also has a website that you can check out. And he has probably one of the most useful pieces that exists, in my opinion.
For gearing, right?
For gearing. And let's see. All right. Bye. Bye, Christopher. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for keeping us all on track with the gears. Okay. So here we go. So this is Sariel's website, and he has some calculators here. Now this actually, I find, while it might seem very complicated, this really demystifies a lot of things for you. So,
well, you can try different things out, right?
You can try different things out. So let's say you wanted to know what the speed difference was going to be between two gears that you're trying to do. So we'll use the example of what we just used.
What, an 8?
Now remember, you're going to do driver gear or follower gear makes a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my driver gear as our 8-tooth gear, which is this one.
And sometimes maybe you want to use an 8-tooth gear because that's all you have room for, right?
Right, exactly. And you can see here that he has each one labeled, and maybe I'll pull this out because you can't see all of them. He has each one labeled as to how many teeth are in it.
Well,
okay?
Yes, the gear ratio is what he's exactly.
Yes, we were talking about gear ratios right now. But I don't want to dive too far into it because it's very mathy, and this is a beginner class. But I just wanted to make sure you had this in your head. So here's our 8-tooth gear, which is going to be our driver, and for our follower gear, we are going to do a 40-tooth gear, which is exactly the same setup that we have right here. Right now, this is telling you right here, the gear ratio is 5-to-1, just like Brickworm said, and the speed is decreased 5 times, but the torque is increased 5 times.
It all works out the same.
The follower gear rotates 0.2 times per each revolution of the driver.
And so that's 20%, which is 1/5, right?
Yeah, so this is fantastic tool for starting to learn gear ratios. Fantastic tool.
Well, you can just try so many things, and what I would recommend you do, like with his book and like with the other book we'll talk about in a few minutes, is get out some gears and axles and try it yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's very different to have it in your head than to have it in your hands.
Now, if you wanted to get even more complicated, you can actually add another pair of gears, and it will add that to your existing gearing here, because of course you could line up a whole bunch of gears, and you may have to get to where you want to, and it is called that is called a gear train. So a gear train is a bunch of different gears together to get get to the other side.
And we can show them exactly what we mean by that too.
Yeah. So here we go. The other thing that's really good, so he has a ratio calculator for planetary gears, but that is way too advanced for what we're talking about today. But what I did want to show you was this, and this is actually my favorite thing on I like the gear ratio calculator, but this is a stupendous tool right here. So you may be looking and going, well, how am I supposed to know what gear meshes with what other gear in what hole? Right? That is really, really tough to figure out.
And it can be a lot of trial and error.
It can be a lot of trial and error. But what is awesome about this is, now this is specifically doing bricks right now, not lift arms, although there is a setting for lift arms, as you can see. So here I've made this little rack just like they have. And you can see here, my first gear is here in the corner. That's where it starts. And now I can click in any of these other holes, and when I scroll down, it's going to tell me what gear combinations I can use that will work in holes of this distance. This is so great. So I can see here that I could use an 8 and a 40. So basically I could do the same.
I need a thing here, sorry.
I could do the same thing that we had here before, which was our 8, this, right? But now I can see that I can actually cover more area. I can cover more distance. So if I don't want to have them right next to each other, because I need to drop my power down, I can do it this way. All right?
I'm almost able to show a very simple gear train here. I need one more 18 gear.
All right, so this is a great tool, and I can see now all of the different gear combinations I can use, depending on which hole I want to go to. All right, I find this invaluable. This is great for figuring stuff out. Okay, so that is the Lego gear ratio calculator. It also has the gear coupler, which is going to help, and I will post a link to this in the description of the. I will post this link in the blog post on our website, so you can go check that out if you need the link to that. All right, that is the awesome gear calculator.
This one is a little, look what I did. I just went from 40 to 8 to 40 to 8, so this would be expected to be super fast.
Okay, well, let's see. Look, right here, we could add another pair of gears. We went from 40 to an 8, and now we're going to go from...
Again, a 40 to an 8. Oh, you went 8 to 40.
Here, we can switch this. So let's see what would happen.
So this is
40 to an 8.
And let's say going from 40 to 8, speeding up 5 times doesn't get you fast enough. You can do that again, and we'll show you how in just a second here.
All right, so here we go. It shows you each gear ratio over here is the same, right? Oh, thank you, Bricky's Club. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate that.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I hope that we are helping show people, learning something. We're trying to show people. So here we will show the final gear ratio is now 1 to 25. So we have now increased the speed to 25 times.
And look at that. So this is pretty slow. Look how fast. Oh, right. We're going to show it to you on camera, and then you can see it.
Oh, my goodness.
Flynn's got only 2 hands. They fly fast.
Yeah. So now...
Check that out.
Look how fast that's going, and I'm hardly turning this at all.
25 times faster. And if we move the crank over here, this would be going 1/25th. So you could have a figure move really, really slowly.
Sure, I'll just do this one.
Look at that.
Look how slow it goes now. And I'm moving this again pretty quickly.
Right? And even check this out.
Ooh, is it going to hit it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Look at that.
There you go.
Okay, this is a messy mechanism, and I don't have my bushings in the right spot here. But, oops. We've slowed that way, way, way down. I just went quickly, and I didn't adjust my bushings.
And they didn't have to go, and they don't have to be on opposite sides either. You would still get the same effect if those were all lined up in a gear train. And like we saw from the gearing coupler, you'd actually be able to continue. You'd actually be able to continue sending your power down the gear train at a diagonal if you wanted to keep doing that.
Yeah, the reason. What did I do here? The reason why you might want to jump back and forth to different sides is if you want to compress your mechanism.
Yeah.
Because a gear train can end up getting really, really long if you go out this way.
It absolutely can.
And then, where is it? Here. This is an example. This is an example of a gear train I made.
Okay, now we're diving into the deep end.
I won't show you how this all works, but basically, I wanted this clock to have, and this is a kooky clock with the second and minute hands going opposite directions, but I wanted for a little bit of movement in the back here, these two to go different speeds. And I didn't have much space, so I stacked all my gears right on top of one another, above, below, on different sides, and you'll notice everything's locked in really tight with bricks, so it can't tear itself apart. So that's a little bit more advanced, and in fact, I did this maybe 6 months ago. No, not even. I did this like maybe 8 months ago, and I have to review all the steps in it. But this is 1/12. A cool thing about this mechanism is that at midnight, oops, they line up, and then every hour that this goes, the minute hand comes back. So that's a 1/12 gear ratio there. I had to work on that a while.
You want more coffee?
Yeah. So where are we going next, Flynn?
Here we go. Hooray. So we were talking about, ahoy hoy, Mr. Elmo Man, welcome.
Wow, we've gotten fancy around here.
I hope, well, first of all, can you please let us know in the chat if we're going too fast or it's too confusing. We can try and clarify stuff.
We don't expect, based on today, you're going to be able to make that clock mechanism, but it's definitely within your reach.
Absolutely. Okay, and that tool will be really handy. Okay, so we talked a little bit about transferring power, and there's a couple of ways that you can transfer power. Now, we talked about using different kinds of gears, that these spur gears can only really attach to each other right next to each other, right? And that we could use these bevel gears to turn 90 degrees. And that is a really, really important thing to learn, is how to go 90 degrees. Because you're gonna, you may not want the power going straight up. You might need it to be going this way and not this way. And you can't always mount your motor or your crank in the direction that, you're always pretty much, if you've got a crank, it's probably going to be coming in from the side.
From the side,
so if you want to then go up, like a simple rotating thing, you're going to really need to know 90 degrees. Now, these pieces, which you may have seen here before, are great. Hey, Aquamike TV, ahoy hoy, welcome. So this is a little L bracket, Technic bracket, and it's got holes, Technic holes in both sides, and it's flat on the inside.
And you can fix it down here.
Right, so you could attach it to, well,
you can attach it to that or to a Technic plate.
Yeah, you'd probably want to put it on a Technic plate, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, excuse me.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this little flat gear. You remember this one that I showed you with the flat piece? All right. And then I'm going to take this other flat piece, and now look at that. This one actually doesn't fit. The large one will not fit in this bracket.
The radius is too big.
You have to use two of the same. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll know that all this has done is turned it 90 degrees. Because these gears are the same size, it doesn't matter which one is the follower or which one is the driver. They're still going to go exactly the same speed. Okay? But it works great for this. All right, so that's a great way to get simple motion transferring power from one direction to the other. All right? And we can also talk about eventually transferring power, like how do I turn rotating power into side-to-side power? And that's, again, getting advanced, but I just wanted to show you this simple thing that you can do to get that working. 90 degrees. And there's other ways to go 90 degrees too, but we can talk about that. Another way that you might want to transfer power is, let's say that you need to go from here. You need to go from here all the way down to here. But darn it, first of all, you don't have enough gears to actually make the gear train. You don't want to change the speed. And also, you may sit there for hours trying to figure out how to get this to work exactly here with the math of gears, and it may not work for you. it may not work at all. So the way that you could then transfer power, and this becomes really helpful again if you have little bits of, if you don't have enough gears, is you can use a chain. Now, a chain you could then attach between these two, and then...
No, you can't use this.
Oh, sorry, not a beveled gear. I put the wrong one on.
Yeah, it has to be a flat gear, and the minimum size flat gear that'll take a chain, I think, is this 16-tooth gear. The little 8-tooth gears
Yeah, apologies. I was
won't
just
do it.
grabbing things off the table. All right, there we go. So now if I want to transfer power from here to here, I would use a chain. And you can see...
You can just increase 1 or 2 or take off a link much more easily than redesigning. Yep, much more easily than redesigning your mechanism. You can make the chain longer or shorter.
So you can see in Richard's chicken model, here is a really good example of using a chain to get these two together. And it kind of takes a lot of the work out of the math work out of it, right? Like you can just sort of like, okay, I need to hook these together. However, there is, you'll notice when you start to hook these up, is there is a difference, like taking or adding one link can make a huge difference in the tension on your chain.
Yeah, you don't want it too tight because you'll induce a lot of friction. There's friction everywhere the chain meets this gear. And so think about for a second how I was able to transfer power here. We'll talk about this worm gear in a minute, but this is on the center line. I had a 16 stud wide thing. This is right, well, close to the center, on line with this axle. So I needed to go 90 degrees. We went over here into this gear, and then I needed to speed it up so the chain transferred power all the way over here, and then back here, and then look, I go 90 degrees up to the top. So in this simple little mechanism, we've used several of the things that we've talked about today.
Well, I would say it seems simple, but is actually pretty complicated. And, you know, by the time you go in and out and in and out.
Let's show that there. Now this is an unsupported axle, but you can see the mechanism better. So I think I was taking things apart when you were talking. I don't remember right where you left off.
No, we were talking about transferring power with a chain and being able to get to a different place without doing a lot of the math.
Oh, here's a handy little tip. See, right here, where is it? Right here, underneath this, you can see there's a 1x1 round plate. There's one of these that's smooth. And I put that there so that when this bushing, this tiny little half bushing there, comes over to this plate, that it wouldn't hit the studs. It has something smooth to rotate on. And you can see I have about 1 millimeter space in between that bushing and that plate, just to keep everything loose and moving easy.
Yes. So, sorry, there was a question. Wilfred says there are special, rather bigger than a bracket Lego pieces to achieve this 90-degree rotation. Yes. When would you use those pieces? Now, I'm not exactly sure what pieces you're referring to, but maybe you do.
Chassis pieces take larger gears. You know, let me see if I can find those. There's these. Now,
he's going to show you this, and you'll recognize it from this. Now,
these are a couple of them. I don't have a large black chassis.
So there are these, which you could use to go 90 degrees. Now, I guess I've never actually tried this before. It would have to be a beveled gear, right?
It's inside. I think it's the same gear.
Oh, look at that. Right. It's inside.
Right, and so it's, again, just like this angle bracket. You can get yourself all tied up in knots.
Now, the difference here, though, is that if you were building sideways, this would get your power from going in to going up, but otherwise, this is basically just turning a corner.
Yeah, while staying in the flat plane, right?
Right.
And then an interesting thing to note here is, see, this axle could come out and make you sad when it drops your mechanism. Mm-hmm. So one of these axles I would send all the way across and put bushings in here, and then the other one you could use...
One of those ones with a flat head. It kind of looks like a nail with a flat head on it.
Well, if it's short, I don't know how we'd get it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on your mechanism, like if you're doing a larger gear in this one, you can use an axle that has a nail head.
Right.
Here's one.
Yes, these are some of the ones with the little nail head on the end. And the nice thing about it is it fits right in. There's like a little groove there, and it fits right in, and it sits flat against here.
But notice here, look how close this is to the edge. You can't fit any, I don't even think an 8-tooth gear will fit there. So you start getting limited by the radius of, on the inside. On the outside, you can put it anywhere.
I've actually never tried it on the outside. That would be an interesting experiment.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Films! Ahoy, hoy! Welcome.
So I often will make a mechanism and then I'll reinforce it and make it sturdier afterwards. I think we should definitely talk about the worm gear as a great way of slowing down, though.
Now, is it okay if I take this?
You can take this whole mechanism apart.
All right, so we talked earlier about the worm gear.
Here, I have a bushing in there that's getting in the way.
Gotcha. And the worm gear, specifically as a way to slow things down. Now, this will slow things down significantly. And do you know that gear ratio, Richard, by chance?
Yes. So check this out. This has 40 teeth around it. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 16, same thing. And you can count these. How many teeth are on this? There's one. There's one continuous spiral tooth. So while this one is going from, what's the easy one? Going from 8 to 40, doing a 5 times slowdown, it's 1/5 as fast. This is going from 1 to 40, so it's a 40 times slowdown. And that's how you can slow things down really quickly. This is going from what Flynn has in his hands as 1 to 16.
Okay, so just to show you, let's put where was that little flag thing that we had on the one end?
Oh, we got a big pile of bricks on the table now.
Here, I'll use this. This will work. So you can see now there's our 24 tooth gear in here. Look how much slower, even if I really crank it up, it's still moving really, really slow.
Yep, even if you hook it up to this motor, it'll go super slow. And that's like how you can take a power functions motor and make a Ferris wheel that's not going to make all your minifigures sick.
Well, and also, too, this gives... what I like about this is that this now, not only does it slow it down significantly, it also transfers your power from horizontal to vertical.
Well, but only in this case if you're building sideways.
Correct.
Right?
Otherwise, it goes from...
And that's why, in this case, I went... Sorry, Flynn, right over you. I went this direction. I went this direction, and then I had to come up. Right? So I did the same thing here. We had to come up.
Ahoy, hoy, Jaden. Welcome.
I'm just not going to stop laughing at that. Let me point out one very important thing about a worm gear, though, is the worm gear can be the driver, but the worm gear cannot be the follower. Would you plug this in?
So if you see, I can turn this with my finger, but...
And you can go forwards or backwards, as long as this is the driver. Forwards, backwards, no problem at all.
But if we try to turn this, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you try too hard, you can break your mechanism. But it also can be used as a way to lift something and keep it in place, because it's not going to drop it.
So Wilfred is talking about a black Technic gearbox 4x4 by 1 2/3. Oh my goodness. Let me look that up. I want to look that up.
I think I have it. But I can't lay my hands on it. I call it a chassis, but I think that's not. I think you have the right name. I just don't have my hands on one because we've made them all.
Oh, I see which one you're talking about. Okay, so this is the one.
Oh, well, that's yes.
Yeah, that's very different.
This is more advanced, right?
This is a lot more advanced, and this is, I believe, more for cars and stuff, right?
You know what? I can't speak to that one because I haven't used it. I know that you do a 90-degree turn with it, and I think, I'm not sure, but can you fit a differential in that one?
Yes, I think that's what that's for.
Yeah.
It's for a differential gear, which is a whole super advanced thing.
Yeah, and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Again, we didn't have shop class, and I'm just teaching, I'm teaching myself about differentials, and I'm making good progress. But one thing I love about this box. And this is that when you mount the gears inside there, if you put your bushings, it will not come apart unless you put so much force that you break the plastic. So these are great ways to have a reinforced gear mechanism that's not going to come apart. And this black gearbox that Flynn's bringing up as well, it just won't come apart. It's a rigid piece. So while you have to reinforce other things with plates and clever methods and Technic, these are already reinforced.
Sorry, I'm just looking up something real quick
Sure.
here. I'm trying to see if I can find this.
So I want to talk with you while Flynn does that about another book, and we've mentioned it here. We really just think so highly of this. So Pavel Sariel does a great job with Technic, and also it's a little bright.
This is the other sort of our other sort of
This
Lego god.
Yoshihiro Isagawa's book, the Lego Technic Idea Book, Simple Machines. He makes these colorful models that, when it's not on a bright iPad,
yeah, it's not going to work really.
Here we go. Wait, there. Models like this, like what we've just shown. He shows you all the gears there, and then when he starts, I mean, try not to make everyone sick here. He builds them in contrasting bricks.
There you go.
Right? He builds them in contrasting bricks so that you can easily see the parts that he's used. And for the most part, he doesn't use words. And I suggest if you're into Technic and you're into gears, this would be a great book to get to. I think Minifig Chick has this book. And just get your hands on your bricks and open this book, and you'll learn so much. This was where we learned our first mechanisms.
Yeah, but
right?
just be aware that he doesn't hold your hand. Like once you start to get into the more advanced models, he shows you how to do it. There are no words, but you can see from the different colors which ways different ones can work, and it's fantastic book.
Yeah, basically he says, here's how a thing works, now go make something cool out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Simple Machines, and again, I'll put a link to that in our in the blog post about this. Golly, well, where are we here?
Look, we've created a huge mess on the table of things that we can sort. I tend to do all the Technic sorting. So we talked about, why don't you do a review of some of the things we talked about, Flynn?
Okay.
Just because we did so many different things here, and it can be a little overwhelming. Please feel free to view this again and check out these two books. But what are the things we talked about?
So we talked about the different kinds of gears and what they can do. Okay. We talked about gearing up and gearing down. And you want to give us the rundown of the gearing up and gearing down again?
Yes. If you take a big gear like this 40-tooth gear, and do I want to?
Actually, sorry, we should step back one step.
Yeah.
The gear that is being controlled by the crank or the motor is the driver gear.
It's providing power to the system.
The other gears are called follower gears.
It's receiving the power and doing some stuff with it, right?
Right.
So gearing up is if we take a 40-tooth gear and we mesh it with an 8-tooth gear, we're gearing up. The 8-tooth gear goes much faster and it's weaker. If we take an 8-tooth gear and we mesh it with a 40-tooth gear, that's gearing down. The 40-tooth gear goes much slower, but it's a lot stronger. It's 5 times faster. 8 times 5 is 40.
Wow. And you can also use Sariel's
Yes.
calculator if you don't know that math.
And you don't really even, maybe you don't need to know that you want to slow it down 5 times. You just want to make it go slower. So use this one.
And then try that.
Or this one. Or this one.
Hey, Joel, welcome. How's it going?
Right?
Yeah.
And then we talked about what if your gears aren't all in the same plane.
Right. If you want to turn 90 degrees, you could use a beveled gear, which would then allow you to turn here like this, transfer your power 90 degrees. This will also Using these two little will also have you go 90 degrees. You could also use this. Now this lets you do 90 degrees around a corner, where this one will let you 90 degrees from horizontal to vertical.
Yep.
All right, depending on how you're building.
Yeah, so think about what you want to accomplish. What do I want to do? I want to spin a minifigure on a little carousel, right?
Yep.
So where does the power come into the system? What directions do you have to turn? And how fast do you want to go when you get to the end? And that's how you pick what gears, to use. And I'd say just start with a motor or a crank and put a gear on it. And then once you've done that, you could mount your motor vertically, and have your gear go this way, and there's your turntable.
Yep, then you don't need anything else. This is super simple.
Right.
But again...
That'll go fast.
Yes, but again, like we talked about, that's going to go really fast because of the kind of motor that we're using here, this power functions motor. But if we were to be using a powered up motor or a hand crank, you would have much more control over it. And a powered up motor is especially great if you want it to move on its own, because you can program it to just go a certain speed, and you could get away with just one, or no gears really. You could, so that's something I did want to say. If you're driving this directly from the motor, like I'm putting an axle in this motor, and then my turntable is going to be sitting on top of this and my thing that spins. That's called direct drive.
And that's really reliable. We use that when we can. Right?
Yeah, if you can. Because that's the thing. Here's something about Technic and about just gears and stuff in general. Every extra element that you put into a train of getting like power from one place to the other is not only adding friction, but is also one more possible point of failure.
Yeah, it's a place where bushings can come out of alignment. It's like, oh no. Now I'm sad. There's 3 millimeters space there and my machine came apart. Now I'm happy. There's a 0.5 millimeter space, right? So it doesn't take much. You just need to, like with so much Lego, and I'm just going to put my, thumbnail in there, and it moves nice and easy. Smooth.
All right, and so we also talked about if you want to slow things way down, you can use this crazy contraption, which is called a worm gear.
And it just sits on 2x4 studs.
Yeah, it fits on these, but this is a worm gear box. All right, this clear piece here, which is fantastic. Now, you can absolutely make a worm gear box out of other materials, and actually Yoshihito Isagawa shows you how to do that in his book. But if you don't have all kinds of extra crazy pieces hanging around, you can absolutely use this little box, and this comes in quite handy. I find this really great.
Can I so have we've reviewed most of the things we've talked about, right? And how you can slow things down like more than once by adding another pair of gears and going on down the line, and it goes faster or slower. Here's another thing to think about with moving stuff around. Remember I made a mechanism where I got 3 different animations out of one crank. If I'm turning this here, right, and it's going 90 degrees and I'm turning this very slowly, there's nothing to stop me from also putting, and this is not spaced properly, but I can put a gear here too. Now I've got one that's going fast and is headed this way, and I could put a propeller on that, and I've got one that's going slow and it's going this way. And you can do that if you have a long axle. You can put multiple gears on. You can send power in multiple ways. Just know that each one of those uses takes power from the system and adds friction.
Yep.
But you can really start moving things around wherever you want if you think about these different methods of 90 degrees, faster, slower, stronger, and weaker.
So Joel, sorry, just to review, this is called a worm gear box.
And this isn't part of it.
Yeah, these things aren't part of it. It really just comes as the box, but it's specifically meant to hold a worm gear and a 24-tooth gear together. Right? And like Richard was saying, take advantage of that. You can make multiple things happen off of that. Like when we did I was thinking of when we did our windmill. We did this windmill and we transferred our power going up, and then we transferred our transferred our power going forward so that it would turn the windmill.
But that meant we also had an axle that was running vertically.
Right. So we extended that axle all the way up to the roof and put a weather vane on the top, so that when the whole thing was going, not only were the blades spinning this way, but our little weather vane was going around at the top.
Yeah, I think movement can just add so much fun. It can draw attention to your piece. It can accomplish work. And it has a high nifty factor.
So Steve Parmley's asking, how would you mount that worm gearbox so that it won't tear itself apart? It does actually, yes, have tubes on the bottom. So this will connect right to a plate.
Yeah,
but now it's likely that you
force that, right?
Yeah, it's likely that you may need to build up, but yes, it will fit directly onto a plate.
Yeah, and then also, well, there's no other attachments there. I think a thing that I would do is support this axle. Right, and make sure that that support is locked in, and support. Oops, sorry, Flynn. And then support this axle here. It may take a plate or two, but support everything and lock it in with other plates.
Yep.
Just look at anywhere your mechanism might tear itself apart, because that's where it will. Right, the weakest point.
Right, and it's funny too though, because of course, the more things you add on like that is the more possibilities of friction. So it's really a balancing act between like just enough and too much.
That's a really good point. We saw a demo mechanism done like this today with these two, and this is a really strong beam, but the more things you add that your axle's going through, it's a point where, especially if your axle isn't perfectly brand new and horizontal,
that is a problem.
Where you introduce friction.
Actually, that is something really good. If you are, thank you, another really good point. If you are picking up, and I'm going to switch back to the front camera now, I think. If you are doing, if you are organizing your Technic and you got a lot of your Technic used, like you found it in, always look at those axles. And first, you want to make sure that they are straight, especially the longer ones. The other thing that you want to look at is that they are not twisted, because many times, and I see this in my work all the time, is that if they get overused or if they get stressed, or they can actually get twisted, and you'll be able to clearly see the lines like a peppermint stick start to like curve around.
There's a few really great demo videos on Beyond the Brick where they over torque Lego parts and see if they can tear them apart, and they do.
Oh yes, it's not good. So, but those are definitely things that you'll want to look at, because you can very easily put something in and not being able to figure out. And something like we were talking about earlier about keeping it simple is, and I was talking about possible points of failure, is that if you think about it, if you have if you decide to do a super long gear train to slow things down, or you use a worm gear to slow things down, a worm gear only has a couple points of failure. So if something's not working right, you can pretty easily figure out what it is. But if I've done this elaborate gear train with like 25 gears going back and forth, well then all of a sudden I have 25 gears that I have to work out.
So where's the problem in there? Oh no, I have to tear it all down to the base to find it.
So, golly, I hope that this has been helpful today. I hope that you learned some new things. We tried to keep on track. It's funny because this is such a deep subject that it's easy to kind of get lost. But I hope that we stuck with at least basic things to understand.
And beyond all the other stuff, if you can just mesh two gears and provide power to one of them, you can do really cool stuff.
It's true. And so if you have any questions specifically related to this, you can email them to us.
Oh yeah, we'd be happy to blab about this stuff, and maybe we'll learn stuff too.
Yeah. And you can email us at flynn@trickybricks.com. This is also the place where you can email your challenge photos, which we actually haven't talked about yet today.
What's the challenge?
So the challenge this time is a 25-piece challenge, and we're doing a little bit of cheating. We're doing a little bit of cheating on it, but we're also going to be pretty strict on a lot of stuff. So 25-piece challenge. You may have a base plate for free.
One base plate.
You may have a base plate for free. We will allow that a minifigure with its torso, like its torso assembly, legs assembly, head, and either hair or hat is one piece.
One piece.
We're allowing that.
One
okay.
piece.
No, hooded one, you're not going to slip that one by.
How many pieces is this? I may do this. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. 7 of my 25, and I've got slow motion.
Right, but also too, think about that. Like 25 pieces, that could be 25 Fabuland pieces. It could be 25 Duplo pieces. It could be 25. So it doesn't necessarily have to be really tiny. It could be something bigger. I personally am going to be using Belleville for my pieces, so I'm very excited about that.
You could build that for 25 pieces.
Yes. So yeah.
Plus have more.
Plus have more.
You could have a balloon.
So it goes like this, as in a figure 8. Window frame and glass.
That's a piece.
That's one. We'll call window frame and glass.
No, is that 2 pieces? Well, I don't know, because 4 panes, 4 pieces. I don't know. What do you think?
Golly, see, y'all are testing us here. I can see
I don't
this.
know. No, you know what? Let's not go down the slippery slope. Let's say if you want glass in your model, that's another piece. You don't have to have glass in your model.
And
you don't have to have a door in the door frame.
And yes, each link of the chain is a piece.
I am not using chain. Let me tell you, I've already thought about that. I might use one that we didn't talk about today so much is pulleys. Pulleys and rubber bands.
Yeah, I mean we're already giving you a lot by having a minifigure just be one piece. But any accessories that minifigure holds in its hands, that is a separate piece. We were talking about the mop. That's actually 2 pieces because it's a handle, and then the mop head is a separate piece. All right.
3 pieces.
Clicky is 3 pieces.
This will be great. I can't wait.
Well, and yes, so the Hornburgers say the problem with rules is that once you make one, you need 10 more to make the first rule. It's true. It's so true.
So we're going to be real easy about it.
Because y'all are sneaky and you're trying to get in extra. I think you know very well.
See, one piece. One
big
piece.
One. It's a big one, but it's one piece. And if you are doing Technic things, Technic pins are a piece.
Yep.
Right? That counts.
I actually pulled a bushing off this because there were 2. Right?
Yeah.
Every bushing is a piece.
It is. Bushings are a piece. Okay, so just like keep that in mind.
Song from Mary Poppins.
It's not too hard if you
for a piece.
Yeah, it's not too hard if you think about it. You get a free base plate.
Yep.
And you get your minifigure counts as one piece. Anything beyond that is an extra piece.
Is a rotator one piece or 2?
See, here we go. There are Technic pins in the big fig. Yes, there are Technic pins in the big fig. I think you're just being fussy on purpose.
Well, because when we get there, like I'm not gonna say you're disqualified. We're not gonna show your piece.
Yeah, we don't.
Try to keep the spirit of the challenge. That was fun, Flynn.
It was fun. I hope that everybody got something out of that. And I'm teaching long classes today. I'm very excited. I'm teaching a summer camp today. Stickers do not count as an extra piece. No.
Show our down cam.
You might get a tisk if you go over.
Oh my goodness, more than one.
No, we're not. We're trying not to. We're not being judgy.
Here, show our down cam, Flynn.
And I was gonna say, some of y'all are worse than my elementary school students. They always love to push the boundaries. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but they're even more blatant about it. So like I used to have my I used to teach classes, and then I would have my minifigure container, and I would say, okay, you can take the minifigure container. Mr. Elmo Man, ball joints are 2 pieces.
Yep. Here, show this down cam for a second. Show them how much we love them. We love you this much. And that's even a close-up. That's not even, look at that. That's how much we love you that we're going to organize all these parts based on our how-to today.
So, thanks everybody so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you want to send us something over... Oh, first of all, let's go back. All right. Challenge.
Taking a breath.
You may email me your photo, or you can go to the Google form for this challenge, which I believe I've already posted in the... did I already post it? Golly, it's starting to get...
If not, we will.
Don't forget, if you want to check out some of the past images from the slideshows, I am starting to slowly post those up on the website. Yay. So you'll be able to check those out and see some of the past slides, because there's really a lot of fun builds.
TrickyBricks MoMA.
Yep, TrickyBricks.com. You can go check it out, and we will be posting an article later today about today's episode, and I will provide some links to the different books we talked about, some of the different pieces that we talked about, and thank you, Brickworm. Good. Whoo! Just want to make sure I did that.
Oh, good. Thanks.
And we didn't talk about this, but we are doing a subscriber drive. We are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. So, when we hit 2,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away this Monkey Kid, Monkey King Warrior Mech to one of our lucky subscribers. So, tell your friends. Let's get some new subscribers. And we will be giving that away. Also, this Sunday.
This Sunday is what, Flynn?
This Sunday is our 100th episode.
Hooray!
100th episode. I can't even believe it. We are going to be doing our 100th episode. We're going to be having some special guests, and we're going to be giving away a special
TrickyBricks care package.
Yeah, special TrickyBricks care package. You must be present to win on that one.
Yeah, that means so if you are a lurker and you normally are here, but you don't go in the chat.
Yep.
Just say hey. Say
that might be a day that you
hoy.
want to say hello.
Or hey,
yes,
or hi.
give us a hoy hoy, and then we will be.
And then because it's people we know are here, so that's people in the chat.
Right. So we will be able to go into our little list of participants and see, you know.
And Facebook works too, right? Facebook people, if they make a comment or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
absolutely. Okay, and yes, the YouTube chat. I can't really see. I can kind of see people who are on Facebook, but it's a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
So, no, we are not having 100 guests. Oh my goodness, no.
We cannot. No.
But definitely, Boone's going to be here. Probably some of the other Lego Masters people will be here.
Might pop in.
We'll be getting some visits from some people who've been on the show before and all that. Your wife is working from home and keeps hearing ahoy hoy. Oh my goodness. All right, everybody, thank you so much. And oh yeah, if you want to send us something through the mail, snail mail,
or a postcard
for our viewer mail segment, you can do that at P.O. Box 11517, Oakland, California 94611. That is the place that you can send us. You can send us things like that. And then also, you know, there's another event happening next month. I guess it's next month, and I want to look and see if this is actually going to happen on a day that we're doing a show. So let me look at this real quick. It is.
What's that?
My birthday is on a Wednesday.
Of course, your birthday in August.
My birthday is next month in August. It's also Holly's birthday next month.
Yeah, 19th.
And a couple. Yeah, the 19th is my birthday, and it is a Wednesday, and we will be here.
Look at that husband points. Remember the birthday husband points.
So I will be celebrating my birthday with all of you, which I'm very excited about. I think
he's going to be
really
26.
No. Cornado, it's your birthday too? On the 19th?
That's awesome.
It'll be a double birthday party.
Oh, fun.
Cornado, maybe we're going to have you come on for a little special guest spot on our birthday.
That would be great.
Oh, Brickworm's birthday's next month too? Very good. Very good.
August, it's a big one.
birthday cake build challenge. Yeah, I think we talked about that. Didn't we talk about some kind of birthday theme? Oh no, that was our Baylug meeting. I don't know what
Yeah,
the heck I'm
it's
talking
true.
about.
We've been, oh my goodness, so many Zoom meetings.
I know we did our
Yeah.
Baylug meeting. We had Brick Fiesta this weekend,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun. And
Yeah,
my
we
goodness.
did the lighting how-to workshop, sort of with version 2.0 demo models. Hey, when we come back next time, we'll show you the Monkey Kid that container ship, right?
Yes. So on Wednesday we will be definitely doing showing off the container ship,
Yeah, we
the
finished
finished
it.
model, and then
Well,
we'll be
you finished it.
Yeah, and we'll be starting something new. Now, like I said, I'm interested to hear from people. If you have stickers or whatever, please email them to us because we are really running low on stickers, and we need
and
stuff
we
for
want to
sticker
see
time.
what you like.
And we'll also be doing tiles and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that should be good. I think we've got. Oh yeah, I don't know what we're going to be doing as far as what we'll be building on Wednesday.
We have some vintage models. We have some newer ones. My sense is to not start one that's going to take us a week or two to do. I think we should do a smaller one.
Yeah. My sense of it is that people. The shows where we build are far less popular than the shows when we actually have like a thing going on. So
one of our special events. Yeah, so I think we'll pick a fun little set.
Yes, the Mowgli. We do have a vintage set that might be really good for Wednesday, but we'll see about that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you. Of course, we are not here tomorrow, but we will be here on Wednesday. We will see you all Wednesday at 10 a.m. for the putting together of some kind of thing.
So please, everyone, have a great time. Build with people you like, virtually or in person, and stay safe.
Stay healthy. Wash your hands. Wear your mask.
Right.
And we'll see you Wednesday at 10 a.m. Bye, everybody.